So today, on another edition of Last Meal on Earth, we have Louise White, who is a television presenter. So the first question I have for you is effectively, where were you born? Where did you grow up? And where are you living now?
Well, Martin, everybody knows Yorkshire, right? Come on. Everyone probably can guess to the listeners who are from Yorkshire. I'm from Hull. A great Yorkshire town, she says. Obviously, we did get the City of Culture at one point, which was fantastic. Never thought we'd get that ever. But to be fair, there is a lot of culture here, so I can't go on. We've got galleries, there's all sorts going on. We've got Pride now, which is great. There's so many things going on. You can't, they don't miss a trick now in Hull, so that's great. But yes, I'm from Hull. I live in Hull, and I've been here now. I actually lived in London for over 25 years, so you might get a tweak on your London accent coming out, but yeah, so I've been here now 6 months in Hull, and I absolutely love it. It's great to be back into my hometown because London to Yorkshire, yes, it is very different, but it's good to be back to my roots.
Yes.
Obviously my family's here, and obviously there's some great job opportunities as well, hence why I've come back, which we'll talk about that a bit later. But yes, I am back in Yorkshire. Oh, and obviously it's lovely and sunny today as well, and that's another reason because believe it or not, it's more sunny up here than it is down south. So there we go. Believe it or not.
So what was your life before you cracked the television presenting route?
Oh, where do I start? Can we go on forever? Mind, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, I started. Well, obviously, I left school, went to Wilberforce College. Actually, I did 3 A levels. So I did photography, art, and textiles, and then I did media studies, but I dropped that and kept the other three on. So I'm a very creative person. I love creativity. I love controversial stuff. My favorite photographers and artists are like Salvador Dali, like David LaChapelle, Oliver Toscani. For those who don't know, Oliver Toscani he does the Benetton adverts, and they're very,
Oh,
very.
okay. Yes, yes,
You know
yes.
who I'm talking? Yeah, he's very controversial, but how he gets that story behind a picture is unbelievable. It's real life. It happens today. Even today, it's happening right in front of us. He's absolutely fantastic. They've always inspired me, but going away from that for the moment, I studied photography, textiles, and art, carried that on, got my grades. Then, to be honest, I didn't really know what I wanted to do after that. I was really researching, where do I go, the photography route, because I got good grades in them. I just thought,
Yes,
I've got good grades and all. Where do I go? So I thought, right, let me have a think. So I thought, right, well, I'll Google photography jobs and obviously textile jobs. And there wasn't really much in textiles, but photography, I worked with photography. Now, I don't know if anybody knows anybody in Hull, but actually, it's quite a small house. Everybody knows everybody. But I worked with a photographer called Gary Wells, and he did the commercial photography like L'Oreal and, Gucci and, things like that. So I was an assistant with him. And that's where I started off. This is where it all comes from in my career, really. And I started with him, loved it, but then I started getting too creative. So I was like, instead I was in front of the camera, not behind the camera. So I was like, oh, let's put that there, move that there.
yes, yes, yes.
And Gary said to me, Louise, I think you'd be better in front of the camera working for like some sort of magazine, fashion stylist, that sort of thing. So it made me think really shall actually is something that I should do, or is it something that I'm interested in? So again, I went back to good old Google. And there was this degree that came up, and it was in fashion photography. And that was my first degree in Lincoln University. So I went to Lincoln University, did the fashion degree, absolutely loved it, got to meet some great people. The best thing about university is they bring in speakers so you can connect really well. They have great contacts in universities.
Yes.
So obviously I was connecting with all these photographers, fashion designers, and I got a really good opportunity. And actually, I'm very lucky because my grandma, bless her, she lives next door to this Jean and Roy, who you probably won't know them. I'm talking as if you know them, but you don't. But Jean and Roy live next door to my grandma, and her son is a massive fashion designer called Carl Donahue. Now, he does all the fashion, London Fashion Week, Passion Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. He does like furs and not real furs and stuff like that. And obviously he does the real as well, but I don't know if he does now. He uses like pellets, but he does some fantastic designs, leather, things like that. So I got in connection with him. My grandma obviously introduced me to him. So I went down to his studio and I did some stuff for him. Oh, it's absolutely brilliant, you know. And I found my love for fashion photography from there, really. Then I got another great opportunity from there because I was posting my portfolios and showing people in the industry. Because obviously once you get in there, you're in and you get to meet people and connect with people in the fashion. You know, when I was like, they invited me to like Gary Wells, he invited me to Fashion Week, and that's where I was making connections. I was networking, and then anyway, an opportunity came up, and it was to go to Fashion Week, and oh, brilliant! And I got to take pictures of all the designs, you know, of all the models. Unbelievable, fantastic experience. First of all, it was unpaid, but it wasn't about the money. It's about the experience, Martin, for me. It's about, you know, getting the connections, showing them what I can do, showing the creativity, and then the rest will follow from there. Anyway, did the degree at Lincoln University, passed with a 2-1.
Yes.
Then I decided, where can I go with this? And I thought, do you know what? And this is really bizarre. And I started, obviously, I thought I'd like to maybe get into the magazine side. You know, I was looking, because I was in a magazine freak then. I used to buy all magazines, go in fashion mags and stuff like that. I used to frame the pictures, Martin, and put them on my wall, you know. And so I was going through that, and then I went to London when I think it was 19, actually. I went to London, it seems like such a long time ago now, but I went to London when I think I was just turning 19, and I did a second degree down there. And that was in magazine publishing. And that was brilliant because that covered like an in-depth insight of how magazines work. And it kind of really opens your eyes, really, because, you know, when you see these people flicking through magazines, I don't think they realize how much work goes into magazines, because, you know, you've got the editorial flat plans. You know, I come from a magazine background, which I'll get onto in a moment, of where my career started. Obviously, this is the start of it to get there, really. But anyway, so, you know, people don't realize when they're just flicking through how much effort that takes. You know, it can take 3 hours, 4 hours to do one page. You know, and how many pages are in a magazine? You know, it's like 70 or 80, sometimes even more. You know, it takes such a long time and dedication to get it right. And there's so many meetings, ideas. You know, we have a mood board. We have ideas, you know, you've got to put forward. And there's so many meetings after meetings after meetings after meetings to just get to one page of in a magazine, you know. Advertising wise, it's nice and easy that they just send it in, that's easy.
Well, yes, I mean today
it's hard. You know,
I mean today they have something called inserts, which are probably really thought through, you know, where you put your inserts so that it shows the most visual and makes the most money.
Oh yes, of course. I mean, obviously a cover photo, that's very expensive, you know, when it comes in and out, and you know, they can go for thousands of pounds, you know, depending on the company, I guess. But yeah, so basically then I did my magazine publishing degree, and that covered like media law, designing a magazine, which I really loved, again, hence why I went into which I'll speak about in a minute. But I graduated with a 2-1 at the Royal College. You know where they filmed the BAFTAs? It was there, the Royal Festival Hall. That's it. So I graduated there. Great day, fantastic day. Felt very proud. Then, while I was at university, I was doing a lot of headhunting. I was Googling different publishers, because it's not going to come to you. You've got to look for it. No. So I had to do. And university didn't really encourage me. I just did it off my own back. So I started Googling all different publishing houses. You know, I just wanted to get in a job and crack on. Not that I didn't like university, I loved it. But I just wanted to get all that experience to see whether it was right for me, because that's what you've got to do. Get the experience, see whether it's right for you. If not, move on to something else. So I got into loads of different publishing houses, to my surprise, because of my background experience from my first degree at Lincoln University, hence with Gary Wells, big good portfolio, etc. So I obviously got into one publishing house. I decided which one I wanted to go into, which was Warner Brothers. And I started off, people may know this magazine. If you're into fashion, you probably will, but it's a magazine called Now Magazine.
Yes.
And I started off there doing work experience. Obviously, it wasn't as glamorous as what people think. People think fashion, oh my God, it's amazing, celebrities, this and that. Yes, it is. But that's when you're at events. It's not in the office. It's just a 9 till 5 job. You know, you have a computer and that's it, you know. Excuse me. But you do have a fashion cupboard. So obviously during my work experience, it was a bit like Devil Wears Prada back then. It's not so much now, but you know, back then when I was doing it, it was like make cups of teas for the editors, you know. It was like, oh my God, can't they make me one? Why am I making them one all the time, you know? And, you know, you'd get to go in the fashion cupboard and see all the big designers like Chanel, Gucci. It was like a godsend to me. I loved it. You know, Christian Dior, and they had all the makeup. You know, we had a section for makeup, section for the clothes and jacket. Unbelievable it was. And there was hundreds of thousands of pounds, if not millions, in the cupboard. It was like, it was mad. Obviously, it's all security. But the best thing about that, though, this is the best bit, was if the PR companies didn't want them back, you could take it home. So it was absolutely brilliant. Everyone used to fight over it, like, that's mine, you know. I mean, I'm quite lucky because I've got a £3,000 Prada jacket upstairs, and I was very lucky with that. Because Yellow Door, they don't exist now, unfortunately, but Yellow Door PR, they said to me, Lou, you know, we don't want, this is when I worked for Marie Claire, and they said, Lou, we don't want this jacket back, you can have it, you're the last magazine to have it, they don't want it back. The PR don't, I was like, what? That's, oh my God.
That's
and
great.
you know what, I've only worn it once, Martin, to this day. It's still in my wardrobe, all in the box.
Well, you wanted pristine, didn't you?
Yes, I should show it off really, but I just don't wear it because I thought, no, Marlo, I'll end up leaving it on a chair somewhere and forget about it, and I'll be absolutely good. So anyway, I'm walking around Hull with that on is not probably the best idea, is it? Come on. But yeah, so that's where it started. And then obviously when I was at Warner Brothers, you get to go. I mean, at the time they had 600 magazines. I think between 600-700 magazines. Obviously digital has, you know, changed that now in the industry. But I'll talk about that as well. But that's something I'm very passionate about actually. But when I was at university as well, but going back to Warner Brothers, sorry, I'm changing a bit. Going back to Warner Brothers, so yeah, I did a lot of work experience, but because of my personality, because of who I am, and you know, my confidence, shining, bubbly, they picked up on that, willing to learn. And they said to me when I was at Now Magazine, her name was Benita Turner, and obviously when I was there doing my work experience, the editor Benita said to me, Lou, I want to pay you for an opportunity. That's how well I did. This is bearing in mind, this was only doing work experience. She picked up on how creative I was, how willing I was to learn, etc. Anyway, they offered me a job, freelance job, just freelance. It wasn't full time. And that was working on a fashion shoot in Paris. Now, that was my very first big gig in magazines. Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. Went for a week, all paid on the company credit card. Absolutely fantastic. We got food, drink involved. It was absolutely fantastic. It was a great experience. And that went into the magazine. That was a Chanel-inspired shoot. So we had all the Chanel clothes come in, and absolutely fantastic it was. And I got paid. I've still got my first paycheck upstairs. I've kept it, but I got £470 for doing like a 4 days work. That was a dream to me. I was like, oh my God, this is it. You know, and it was actually great. And obviously the naughty thing was I skipped uni for the full week. So I got called in the office, when I was there. And they said, Louise, office, where were you? Because I was missing my lectures. And then when I told them and showed the magazine, they was very, very proud. So obviously I caught up with that. But, you know, it's all about getting that work experience because you never know what's going to come off. And when I say that, what I mean is when I finished that shoot in Paris, Benita Turner rang me and offered me a job when I'd finished university. So I was very lucky because at that time it was the recession and I went into a 25 grand job. I was very lucky. So Warner Brothers, you know, gave me that job, went straight into a job. There was people screaming out for jobs and I just walk in straight away. So I was very lucky. And once you're in because, I mean, I did have a teacher at university and she inspired me and she worked for Vogue in the Cockney accent because no one understands what I'm saying, especially down south, you know. And she used to work for Vogue and she did a lot of the fashion stuff. So she used to inspire me a lot. I used to really listen to her when she did the lectures because I thought, actually, you are what I wanted to do. Like, you're my inspiration. I want to do your job. Not teaching, but when she was at Vogue, you know, she was a picture editor, so she'd do all the pictures and stuff. And I thought, you know what, that's great. Hence why my first degree was in fashion photography. It all kind of links, really. So, yeah. And then she was my biggest inspiration, really, because I thought, you know, if she can do it, I can do it. Not that she was rubbish or anything, but it was just she knew the experience and the path through what I needed to take to get to that stage, really. So yeah, she was brilliant. She was really, really good. And she knew what she was talking about is one. Do you know what I mean? So she had the experience. And that was another good thing about London, because the university I went to in London was called London College of Communication. So that's where I went. They have London College of Fashion, Central State Mountains. You will probably know, Martin, a few of the people that went there. Vivienne Westwood went there. Piers Brosnan's in the Alumni, I can never say it. You know, there's so many big in there as well. You know, there's some really big people that went to that university, especially fashion designers as well. Alexander McQueen went there. You'll probably know him. Obviously, he's passed now, bless him, but, you know, he went there. You know, there's some really big fashion names. And so you know, it was a great university. I loved it. And they had lots of, they had even better people coming in to talk. And that's hence how I managed to get into Marie Claire, really, because they used to bring all the editors in, bring them in, and they used to do talk. Funny enough, actually, when I finished my degree and got into Warner Brothers, can you guess what they asked me? They asked me to go and do a talk. I've only been in Warner Brothers like a 1 month, 4 weeks, you know what I mean? But you know what? That really inspired me, because I thought, actually, I've done well. I should have been proud of myself. Yes. It was absolutely fantastic. But going away from Warner Brothers, so then I was at Warner Brothers for a very long time. I was at Warner Brothers for 15 years, actually. But then the digital era took over, which was a shame, because a lot of, I don't know if I'm allowed to mention news, but Marcus Rich came in and he changed the whole of the company. He put it into an events and digital company. So hence why Marie Claire, is now an online magazine.
Yes.
I think you can buy it in America, but not in the UK as paperback. And he closed all the magazines like InStyle, Now Magazine. Most of it's online now, because the digital, you can go on your phone and read things now. The accessibility, it's so much better. And, so hence why I ended up getting, not made redundant, but they sold the magazine on to Kelsey. And at the time, because I worked across many different subjects or different areas within magazines. So I've done like fashion, I've done cars, I've done interiors, I've done so much television, believe it or not. But at that time I was working on a car magazine. It was called Volkswagen, and then obviously that got sold off. So then I got another job and moved to Immediate Media. And then I worked for some magazines. Yes, I worked for Homestyle magazine. That was my best magazine. I loved that. It was like my little baby, Martin. That was basically like obviously interiors. It says it all really, Homestyle in the title. But that was working across like, bathrooms, kitchens, but like high end as well, which is what I really loved. I mean, I used to have PR meetings and going about, I wish I could have that. I used to look at stuff that we couldn't have really, I couldn't have. I used to look there thinking, I can't have this, but it was great. Like 50 grand kitchens, like 100 grand kitchens.
Yes, but when you're looking at that, you've probably got a £5 million home for it to go in.
I know, well, you are right, because these were like aiming at ABC One, like people who have got money of 100 grand, And I sit there thinking, oh, yes, I could afford this, really, without thinking, they're all large-large. That's the thing about fashion interiors. They've all got money. It's a massive billion-dollar industry, And yes, I used to go to all these PRs thinking, oh, and when I used to get a freebie, man, it's like, yes, I've got a freebie. It was great. Us journalists love a freebie, obviously. It's great. But the funny thing is, I used to get it. So like when I worked in fashion, I used to give it to my mum for Christmas. So she thought I paid a fortune, but I got it free out of the cupboard. So that's the most hilarious thing. But I hope she's not listening. So yeah, it'd be hilarious. But yeah, so going back to my career. So from there, when I worked at Warner Brothers, I met somebody called Andrew White. Now, I'll be honest, he's not my brother. We're not related, even though my brother is called Andrew White in real life. Hilarious. So I used to work with Andrew. And this is moving on towards my television career now. Yes, so obviously I had a big background in media prior to the TV opportunity. But there's a guy that I worked with at Warner Brothers called Andrew White, and he absolutely loved me, my attitude, I am quite loud. He loved my loudness. Everyone just loved me. Like I'd walk into Warner Brothers, you've all got a smile on your face, and and he saw something in me that day, while I was working there for 15 years. And he's not lying. He's been approaching me the last 8 years, trying to get me to do his show, Walks Around Britain. I was like, no, it's not for me. Even though I'm confident, I'm not confident in front of a camera, but I'll tell you what happened, actually. But I'll tell you that answer in a minute. So, obviously, going back to what I said, when you get into media, you're in. Once you get those contacts, you're in, And then, obviously, you get to... Like I always say in media, always shine, because you never know when the next opportunity is going to come. And this is why this happened. This is what happened to me. So I was shining in Warner Brothers, and this editor, Andrew White, saw something. And he said, "Look, can I have a word?" Took me in the office. He said, yeah. I said, I think you're brilliant. I said, what? He said, I think you're brilliant. I said, what do you mean? I said, I'm sat at my desk writing all day. He said, no, your attitude, your funniness, have you ever thought about being a comedian? I said, no, never. He said, I should be. He said, I'd love you to do my show. He said, it's called Walks Around Britain. So I said, all right, brilliant. Yeah. I said, what does it involve? Being in front of a camera? What? I nearly died. What? I thought he meant do like the editorial, like the writing of the scripts and things like that. And he said, no, I want you to be in front of the camera. And I was like, oh. And obviously I was hesitant at first. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I said, can I think about it? He said, what's the bloody think about? And I said, no, can I think about it? And he said, yeah, that's fine. Anyway, it took me, and I tried to avoid it. That's what I did. So anyway, about what, 6 months later, not 6 months. He said, 3 months later, Lou, have you decided, Lou? It's been 3 months. He knew that I didn't want to do it. He knew. And I said, but he was trying to wake me on because he really wanted me. Anyway, I said, yes. I said, okay, I'll do it. What happened was, give me a sob story, and I fell for it. And then that's when I said, all right, I'll do it, because he couldn't present anymore. So I thought, all right, I'll do it. Anyway, cut a long story short is, I decided to say yes. And then my first, so what, I'll tell you a little bit about Walks Around Britain. So it's a TV show that talks about beautiful walks on the countryside in the UK, anywhere in the UK, down from Devon to Scotland.
Oh, okay.
Well, Scotland's not the UK, but you know what I mean. So like all the way to Scotland, so it's, so that's what it's about. And it's about, showing people that it's about well-being, relaxing, just, if you're having a stressful, go for a walk. It's and the health benefits of walking. It's all about that, really. But Andrew wanted to do something different with me because of my personality. He wanted me to change it and bring celebrities on board.
Okay.
And I don't like the word celebrity, because they're just normal people trying to get a working and living like the rest of us, really. But so basically, bringing those people on board, I like to call them popular people, but bringing those people on board. And anyway, so we had to sit down, we had a brief take, and we did all of that. And I worked with some brilliant people, like Cary Grant was brilliant. Cheryl Ferguson, I've worked with her. I've worked with Brett Fallis. He directs Emmerdale and Coronation Street. Absolutely fantastic lad. We had some great fun as well. And, when I say about great fun, like, for instance, this is how nervous I am in front of a camera. Not so much now, because I've learned how to do it, but my very first time I went on the camera, oh my God, I was with Shan Reeves, and she is awesome, Shan. And we actually filmed in Blackpool, and it was near the Big Dipper.
Yes.
Actually, because she's quite well known. So I was doing the intro to Walks Around Britain, so I say, hi, welcome to Walks Around Britain, but instead of saying Walks Around Britain, I went, hi, welcome to Blackpool. I was like, oh no. So we had to retake the thing. And and when I was just about to get it right, we was like, oh no. And I was going bam. I was like, oh. So I had to retake it again, because I've just got 3 times. Oh, this is a nightmare. My first shoot, this is. And anyway, we finally got there, but we kept getting stopped because she was quite popular. It was hilarious. And the same for like the rest of them, really. We kept getting stopped. But it was funny but then that made me more nervous. I was thinking, oh my God, what do I say? Because the thing is in presenting is you don't have an auto. You do if you're on like game shows and national television, like Ant and Dec and, all of them, Holly, and, you get on This Morning, you do get an auto cue. But, when presenting, sometimes you've got to think on your feet, and it's very hard. You think, am I saying the right thing? Have I got that in? Because you're getting told what to say, but then sometimes you might forget it, and you've got to go back and retake. Filming is very long hours, Martin. I get up at 5 a.m. and I don't get home till about 9 o'clock at night, 10. It can be very long hours. That's the only thing, but it's great fun. It is great fun. Not when you're getting it wrong, because it is quite frustrating. Just think, oh, I should have said that, But it is great fun. And like, working with Cary Grant, Shan Reeves, Cheryl Ferguson, Brett Fallis, the list goes on and on. He's absolutely brilliant. And, we had so much fun. And they, I was making them laugh, to be fair, because Martin, they couldn't even get a word in, really, with me. So, that was the thing. Oh, me being Yorkshire, we just talk, don't we? That's the thing. But somebody interested going into television, I'm not going to lie, it is a very, very competitive industry. Yeah. Even, like I said, I felt very lucky because I was already in media. But if you just want to focus on television, like I say, my best advice is don't go to the big players, go to the smaller production companies. They're the ones that'll give you the experience, because the BBC, ITV is so hard. I've tried loads to get an ITV, even on the magazine side. It's really, really hard. It's very, very difficult. You've got to meet certain criteria. You've got to, it's really, really hard. So for me to give that best advice, I would say start with the smaller production companies, even local production companies. Start there, work towards the big ones. I'm not saying don't go for them, but I'm saying get the experience behind you first, then go for the big ones. Walks Around Britain is across 22 UK channels, which is fantastic. But it's in America. I've got a family in Canada, and they can watch it in Canada. It's hilarious. On America PBS, is it? No, it's that one it goes on. and they can watch it all on there, which is hilarious. It's actually still, it's being filmed at the moment still. You know, we're still doing some of them. It's taken a bit of time because through COVID and stuff, that stopped us, and on and off all the time. So we are actually still filming. I've got quite a few celebrities or popular people still lined up to actually film, which is great. Some of them I know personally, some of them I don't know. You know, but it's great fun. And I think, you know, if you want that career, go for it, is what I'll say. You can do anything you want as long as you put your mind to it, is what I say. No matter what background you're from, no matter if you've got no money or you've got money, it doesn't matter. You're still as good as them. Go for it. You know, I don't come from a very wealthy background. And look where I am. I've been really successful. I've had a, you know, career in media for 25 years, you know, and, you know, it's been brilliant. And going from that TV side, I was approached by an American director called Diana Firefly. And she has basically it's an all-women studio, which is absolutely fantastic because you don't see that nowadays. Hence going back to the pay gap and obviously the BAFTA thing, and, you know, people should be getting paid the same as men and all of that, you know. And which is right. I mean, us women can do the same as men, supposedly. I mean, I'm no good with an hammer, I must admit, but, you know, I mean,
yes, but it's,
I like God putting
it's the diversity of what you can do. I mean, nowadays, you know, it's so much easier to plumb and build because it's just like, you know, Lego at the moment. So
yeah,
it's so much easier.
Yeah, I mean, I can't put a nail in the wall, so I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It's like I'm rubbish at DIY, but, you know, as I say, but yeah, so basically, you know, there's all that change in the media, but I think, you know, with Diana, it's a great thing that she's doing because it's very rare you get an all-women studio. So she works with the likes of, you know, Tim Curry, and I had the opportunity, she approached me, and I had the opportunity to go over to Chicago, and, well, I actually stayed with my friend in Chicago, but I actually had the opportunity to go to America and go down to Arkansas and Harrison, where they filmed Star Wars, part of Star Wars, or maybe Star Trek. Which one's, I don't even know which one, I don't watch it. Which one's Captain Kirk? Is that Star Wars, Martin?
That's Star Trek.
There we go, Star Trek. I keep getting them up, so I don't watch it, it's not my thing. But anyway, I got the opportunity to go to Arkansas in Harrison, which is in Arkansas. It's like a little village. And they filmed part of Star Trek there. And I was sat in Captain Kirk's chair, is it? Absolutely fantastic. But it was really good. They filmed it in LA and they filmed it in somewhere else in America, and then Harrison, this little studio. And yeah, it was absolutely brilliant to see all the green screens and, you know, all the space crafts. And I was like, oh my God, I was touching everything. You know, I shouldn't have been, but I did. And I was like, what's this do? You know, it was hilarious. And I actually even got to put one of the suits on. That was hilarious. So yeah, it was really, really good fun. You know, just didn't have the Spock ears, you know, that's all I needed. But you could see them. I didn't put them on, but you could see them in this box. It was hilarious. I thought, oh my, I was tempted, I must admit, very tempted. But I thought, no, I can't, because I was there to do a job, really. I was meant to be there acting. But anyway, going back to that, sorry?
You get thrown out.
Yes, I know. Well, there was very strict when we went in, I must admit. But I was like, what can I take? What can I keep of the silver ear? Do you know what I mean? I was going around, what can I take? Proper Hull lass, do you know what I mean? Proper Yorkshire lass, what can I have, you know? But it was absolutely brilliant. And I'll tell you what they did have. They had these, like, I don't know if you ever watched, for all those Star Trek fans, you know that big brown thing that's real fluffy? They had those. I don't know what you call them, but my auntie managed to get one of them, which was hilarious. But I mean, obviously I wasn't bothered because I don't watch it. I'm not a fan, you know. But but yeah, it was really good. Anyway, next to the studio of Star Trek, there was another studio for me to present in, actually. And I was doing my presenting in there, and I was even more lucky, actually. The director, I feel bad. He's a very old man, but he was one of the directors on Star Trek, and he actually was watching me act, believe it or not. And I've had another opportunity to come up from him. His name's Dan Reynolds, and he's offered me an opportunity to be in one of his Star Trek series with Captain Kirk. I think Captain Kirk's very old now. He told me he's obviously getting on, but he's going to be in the film. So I'm going to be actually in there with him, which is a great opportunity. But yeah, I've got to fly out to America. I don't know what it is. Obviously, they've written me a part. That's where it is. But I don't know. I can't tell you what film it is. I can't tell you if it's a series because I don't really know myself yet. But that's all I know is that. So I'm just waiting to hear from Dan. And but going back to Diana Firefly, yes, I did acting for a film called Blood Brothers. That was really good. That was quite scary. It's a zombie film. And the this is even more funny. So I dragged my auntie abroad as well. I wanted her to be one of the zombies, right? So she had to eat me in my neck, and all I did when we was filming was laugh. I couldn't even take it serious, Martin. It must have been take 1000, obviously, because I was trying to act dead. I was trying to make those gruesome noises, like, you know, and I just started laughing. I couldn't take it, and it was like, cut, action, cut. I just, honestly, I am no actor. Well, I can act, but you know, you think, no, acting, it takes me a long time, you know, because I was just laughing. It was just hilarious. I thought, my auntie's biting my neck here, you know. It was just hilarious, but it was really, really good fun. And she really enjoyed it as well. That was really good fun. And, you know, being in a Star Trek studio next door to it was absolutely fantastic. You know, to see it all come to life was really good. And then I got another opportunity to be in a film with Tim Curry. That's a voice. Actually, it's not an acting part. That's just a voiceover.
Yes.
So that's called Dagon Troll Chronic. I can't say it. Dagon Troll Chronicles. Now that's going to be out. That's going to take 6 years to make because it's an animation, so it's going to take a very long time. It's like Avatar. I think that took 3 to 4 years. It's going to take a long time. So that won't be out as of yet. Blood Brothers is doing the circuit in America. That's doing all the festivals in America. It will be touring the UK, but I don't know when. So, like, I think they've gone in for Rain Dance Festival. They've gone in for other festivals in the UK. They did do Comic-Con in America. I think they're trying to do Comic-Con in the UK, which would be great because obviously I'll be there and some of the main characters will be there, which would be great. Obviously, so that'll be really good. So that's doing the tours at the moment. But it was really good. I mean, I feel so honoured to be in a film with Tim Curry because, I mean, come on, everybody knows him from Home Alone. He's so iconic. You know, he's very iconic from Home Alone and, you know, in that hotel, you know, absolutely fantastic. And to be alongside such a, you know, actor, I mean, fantastic actor, you know, it's just great to be alongside him and get my name along with him. It's just unbelievable, really. I was quite shocked they asked me, to be honest, because I can't believe Hollywood wants my whole accent, let's put it that way. But, you know, I mean, we talk like no, the, you know, oh, we don't even pronounce the H in hold it. It's like, oh, in it, you know. And it's really shocking to think that they'd want an accent like that, really. A Yorkshire accent, you know. I mean, I was in the whole Daily Mail and it was like, oh my God, you know, like they want my whole accent. I mean, I should be proud, really. It's my roots, you know, it's my mother tongue, but, you know, it's my mother tongue. But I just think, you know, why would they want such a voice? You know. But anyway, it kind of works well because I've heard it. It does work really well, actually. And then from there, I got scouted by a friend of mine called Dennis to be in a couple of films. I can't talk about them though because they're still in the works. But, you know, that'll be a great opportunity for me. I don't know if that's going to be next year now. But that's, you know, I'm looking forward to that. And I'm one of the main characters. I can say that. So, mind you, I don't know I'm going to remember the lines, Martin, because I've got a mind like a sieve. You want to see the script? It's like that.
You have to have it on
I can't even remember what I had for dinner. Sorry?
You'd have to have it on big cards.
I know, I need an auto cue. That's exactly what I need, you know. And that, you know, it's hilarious because I've got my mum there doing it over the phone on FaceTime. You know, mum, what, like, just, and I said to my mum, don't speak, hang on, and I'll do my line, and I'll say, right, and then like this one, it's hilarious. It's like Dumb and Dumber on the script. It's hilarious. But you know, anything to make me remember it. And then like I'm walking around the house trying to say the lines, you know, and I'm like, you know, right, okay, I can't say the lines, it's a bit out of my say, but say I had to say something like, hello, Louise, you know, I'm talking to myself in the toilet and God knows what next doors are thinking. I bet they think she is mad, even though I'm mad anyway, you know, but let's think I'm crazy, Martin, you know. But I mean, you know, it's a great career to have. I love it. You know, it's hard. It is hard work. You've always got to put in what you want to get out. You know, it's very hard work. You know, there's more opportunities to come. I'm aware of that because I've had some emails come through already. But for me now, it's kind of settling down for me now. You know, I'm 41 this year. I mean, never say never. You know, people at I say my age, but you know, you've got some of these actors going on forever, haven't you? So, but I would say go for it if you want to do it. Don't let anything stop you and go for it.
Sort of magazine editor, photography and television presenter. Where do you think you might have ended up?
Oh, good question, actually, because well, I'm not a very brainy person, hence why I took the creative route, Martin, but I used to love Casualty and, you know, doctors and stuff like that. I've always used to love like blood and guts and gory stuff, you know. So I've always wanted to, well, I would love to have been a doctor or a surgeon, getting my hands dirty, you know, in human bodies and like a bit like a zombie, you know, sort of thing. But, you know, I've always wanted to be a doctor. I'd love to, you know, make people feel better and obviously get them better. So that's what I've always loved to have done. But because I'm not a brainy person and got straight A stars, hence why I went the creative route. Yeah. It was good fun. You know, I think creative, I'll be honest, in the arts industry, a lot of people put their nose down at it, but actually it's a very good job. You can earn very, very good money. And it depends on which route you take, but in the arts there is very, very good money. You've got directors roles, you've got chief executives, you've got CEOs, you know, but people do put the nose down a lot of the creativity industry, and it's shaped even actors, you know, there's a lot of money in acting, and people put the nose down. And I think actually people see careers as like doctors, nurses, dentists, you know, dental nurses, and
yes,
you know, a lot of people do put the nose down at the creative arts industry, and actually there's a lot of money that gets escalated around in that industry. It's a very, very high end industry. So
I think people see it more as a gig economy. You know, I mean, you're a nurse. It's sort of, I don't know what hours they do, but it's sort of 5 or 7 days a week, whichever hours, and it's sort of consistency where you could be doing a photo shoot in 5 days, which maybe earns you enough for a month, and then you may be waiting for your next opportunity to do the work, and that's probably why people don't like going down that route.
yes, exactly. That's the thing. I mean, that's the only thing about film and television. And you're okay with magazines; you do get a salary, unless the magazine gets sold off. But the same for other media platforms. But in terms of television, yeah, it's a bit hard. These actors, you know, I've got a friend who was in a TV series for 11 years. Now he's moved on. And it's like, what does he do next? He's got nothing. It's like, you know, where's my next paycheck coming from? That's the only thing in television and film. You never know where your next job's coming from. And if you've got a mortgage, well, if you've got even renting, the same thing. You're renting or got a mortgage, where are you going to find that next paycheck from? You know, that's the only thing. So anyone who wanted to get in that industry, that's the only thing you've got to think about and consider. Unless you're not established already, it's very difficult to get that money and keep rolling. You know, a lot of my friends that was at university, they do little smaller productions. You know, it's really hard to get in these like big Hollywood films. I always say media, it's who you know, not what you know. Yeah. And it really is. Look at me. Everybody that I've got in where I'm at is who I've known. They've seen me work hard. They've seen me shine. And that's where the opportunities have opened for me. That's opened doors. But, you know, if you haven't got that connection, then obviously that's where you're going to have to start from scratch and work really, really hard. You know, obviously not saying that I haven't worked hard, but, you know, in terms of getting those connections, that's what you've got to do. It is a very, very difficult industry. And even that, you know, times are hard, you know, the way the industry is going, you know, the way the UK is going, really. Everything's gone up, prices have gone up, you know, things have cost more. It's, you know, it's very hard work. Even in the industry of film and television, you know, they're cutting actors' hours back, you know, they're cutting their hours back, you know, and that, you know, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. But yeah, it is a very difficult industry. It is at the moment, anyway, she says.
But I think it's one of those things that there's too many people probably doing now, because the barrier to entry has been lowered. And it seems like Netflix went on a binge to just buy anything, and now they're restraining themselves. But there's too many easy wins with game shows and nature programs, which you just point the lens and you just take whatever there is, and you filmed your, what is it, your 52 minutes, and you're done for that hour. So
yeah. I mean, what annoys me, actually, I'm not a lover of these you know, like Love Island, these reality TV shows. Oh, that's not TV to me. TV is like documentaries, real life. I mean, that's because I'm only interested in it, really. But
yes, but it's something where there's no real thought to it. We'll get a whole load of celebrities in quotes. We get people that are all same sex, or, you know, and then it's just pointing the camera and seeing what happens. But I think, well, I've been told, I haven't, can't confirm it, that 90% of the people that go on that are actors. So they're saying,
Um,
you're told to go down this route, and so that you have all of these points where it's, oh yes, it's amazing. It's all on the newspapers the next day, and they're just playing a role. Because I interviewed somebody that was on um EastEnders as a
yeah,
small actor, and he said he'd looked at Love Island and he had loads of people he went to acting school with, and
yeah,
loads of people he's actually performed with. So
wow,
if
yeah.
he's saying that, it's a bit interesting that it's just chewing gum TV, as I call it. There's no real thought to it.
Yeah, I agree with that, Martin, actually. I think, I think most of it is scripted. I think actors do get told what to do. I mean, another love where my background comes from is I used to go to, I used to get tickets. I have friends in the industry at the time, and I used to get tickets to all these shows, just in the audience. And they used to tell the audience what to do. And you think, hang on a minute, I should be able to do what I want. TV is not that it's not glamorous at all. It's you get told to do this, because they want the audience, they want the figures, because the reason why that is because they want the advertisers' money. If you've got 1 million viewers, you're going to get advertisers spending like the same. It's the same for ITV. They were like Emmerdale, Corrie, they've got millions and millions of viewers. If they start losing the viewers, that's advertisers aren't going to work with them. That's the actors' job's gone. That's Emmerdale gone. That's
Yes.
ITV gone. That's what it's about. All they care about is getting the circulation and the distribution figures. That's all it's about, Martin. So if they can say to one person, right, laugh and smile and do that when, or chuck an ice cream on someone's head, or whatever, what I can think of, and it gets them like 10 million views,
Yes.
they've hit the nail on the head, bang, bonus, and that's exactly what publishing's all about. It's all about getting those figures and listening figures. You've got revivals with BBC and ITV, not commercially because they don't advertise, obviously, hence why we pay a TV license. But in terms of ITV, there's a big, like with EastEnders at one point they were on at the same time, weren't they? BBC EastEnders at 7:30, Emmerdale at 7:30. It's like, oh my God, which one do I watch? So because they were losing out on, I think EastEnders were struggling very, very hard in terms of figures of people watching the show. So that's why they did it with the revivals, to see where or how they could get that audience back from Emmerdale, I guess. Obviously the two completely different shows. But if you ask me, the circus write about the same thing. They go around in a circle, sort of thing. I mean, they're talking about knife crime now. I mean, they did that in Coronation Street about a month ago, and now they're doing it in Emmerdale. It's the same script editors, same surf editors, etc. But I think, that's exactly what it's all about, Martin. It's all about figures and distribution figures to get the money from the advertisers to keep the ball running at their end, really. And if they can do something stupid to get the figures in, or tell someone to do whatever, there it is,
I mean, a lot of the times, you have to have lived 100 lifetimes to have that experience in EastEnders or Emmerdale
yeah,
or
well, that is true,
Coronation
actually.
Street. So the next question I've got is, what is the best aspect of your current job?
Oh, the best asset. Well, as you probably know, I can talk, Martin. So for me, it's communication. It's about meeting people, networking. I love it. I love I love talking about myself, but don't everybody. So I love talking to people and meeting those connections, getting those connections. And not just that, keeping them for life as well. I've got, obviously, as you can imagine, I've got loads of friends, but being in the industry over 25 years, you make them friends. At first it's connection, then you go out and you make friends. But for me, the best aspect of my job is meeting new people, networking in the industry, and I'm just having great fun with them as well. Taking them out whining and dining, that sort of thing. In my current role at the moment, I work in radio. So we get to take, people out, which is great. We go to the top-notch places. Obviously I order the most expensive thing on the menu. Come on, do you know what I mean? If I'm not paying, I'll have a bottle of Moët, bring that to the table as well, whatever's rolling, So, just keep the ball rolling really. But that is a good thing, because there's nothing worse going into a room full of people and not saying a word. It's great to be able to, mind you, you've got to be confident, as well. That's the thing. But I'm confident, so I can just say, there's my card, off I go, chat about anything to somebody. I tell you what, I could speak to an Eskimo and sell ice. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm one of them. But yeah, I'd say the best part of my job at the moment is networking and talking and making friends.
So when you're not working, let's migrate to your hobbies. Do you have any hobbies or interests that you like to do outside of work?
Oh, definitely, Martin. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I say this isn't a hobby though, but I'm about to paint my shed after this.
That's a
So
hobby.
DIY is definitely not a hobby, but sorry,
That's a hobby, is it, painting?
I don't know. DIY in my mind is definitely not a hobby. But going on a serious note, yeah, I mean, I've been horse riding for over 30 years. So I used to have my own horse. I don't anymore because when I moved to London, I had to, move on and
Mhm.
etc. But yeah, I like horse riding. As I'm creative, as I said previously, I like doing artwork, doing a bit of art, doing a bit of drawing, painting. It's quite relaxing as well, for the mind, body, and soul. I love that. What else do I do? A bit of reading now and again. I love a reading, but sometimes I like just to relax me after a stressful day at work. I'll read a Catherine Cookson book, boring, I know. Or I do like fashion designers, the Karl Lagerfeld book, I've got that. I like reading my Chanel books and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I was actually recently at it was at the V&A, it was really good. I was actually at the Chanel press exhibition. That was really good for their he's all about Coco Chanel for their event. Absolutely fantastic it was, and that was at the V&A. That was really good. But that is one of my favorite designers is Chanel. Oh, fabulous woman. And so yeah, but I definitely like doing some fashion stuff and reading on fashion. And that's about it really. I like going for walks, hence why I do walks around Britain. I don't know if that's a hobby or whether that's the thing, but I like going around the countryside and walking and taking in that fresh air to relax again. It's all about well-being for me, Martin. It's all about, especially when you've had a stressful day at work, there's nothing better than putting down your laptop, going outside, getting a bit of fresh air. Because I mean, everybody works from home now. Well, I do anyway.
Well,
Everybody
yes,
works from
a vast percentage of the time is working from home now.
Yeah, and this is the thing, and it's I think, sat at home in your own room all day and sat on the same place, same settee, putting your laptop down. There's nothing better than putting your laptop down, going outside, going for even if it's a 10-minute walk, 10-minute walk, getting some fresh air, fabulous. But yeah, I mean, my main hobby out of all of that would be obviously the horse riding. I love it. It's a dangerous sport, but it's absolutely fun. I mean, the amount of times I've fallen off and smash my arm in and God knows what, but it's great. You do it again, you love it. It's kind of a thrill seeker hobby, I suppose. But yeah, that'd be my main one is horse riding, really.
So do you still pick up the camera and take photos while you're out and about?
Actually, funny you should say that. Interesting. Yes, I have got a 2 grand camera upstairs. I've got a Canon one, but I've had that years. It's probably not worth that now. It's probably worth about £1, but I've had it since university, so it's very, very old. But I do like vintage as well. That's another favourite subject of mine is vintage. But yeah, I did a recent fashion shoot for a magazine that I do freelance work for called Integrity Magazine. So I did a fashion shoot for them and wrote the feature up, which was really good because it brought it back to my roots where I started from. Because I've kind of lost that now, Martin. I don't do much of that now because I do obviously the radio side. I do obviously the Integrity Magazine, but not as much because I'm so busy on the radio. I don't have time doing my actual stuff that I do actually love doing. So I do a bit of freelance work, like I said, now and again um, with the camera. I mean, sometimes if I'm going out on a walk, I'll take it with me and get the insects and, things like that, because it's quite surprisingly amazing, really, what you can get and capture on a camera without you even knowing, through the camera lens. It's quite powerful, really. You know, and it is great fun. It can be relaxing. Again, it relaxes me looking, it takes my mind off things because you're trying to find something that it looks good. I mean, I've got pillows that I've done screenshot, from the
Yes.
photos I've taken, printed them on, and they look great. I mean, I do love taking pictures of flowers. That's great because I get, you can put them on canvases. You can even sell them. I don't do any of that, but you could even sell them. They're that good. If you get a good picture and definitely a good image. I mean, you can take hundreds of images, right, and only find one image that works. That's how photography works. I mean, it never works first time, Martin.
No.
But I mean, yeah, I have picked up the camera a few times on my walks and doing that fashion shoot, and it's a shame, really. I kind of makes me feel guilty, really, because it's just out there, and I should be doing more stuff with it, really. But you kind of just lose it, and as you get older, you think, oh, I can't be bothered. I'll just not bother. But
Oh, I mean,
you know,
you've got a beautiful hull to photograph. You're very close to the beach, and
yes,
you've got horses to photograph. So you think, well, no, you've got lots of things to work on. So we'll move over to the food side, which for
Oh,
us
sounds good.
the more interesting. So what is your best food experience? It can be sort of in the family setting, or it can be a fabulous restaurant that you've visited.
Oh, well, I've actually got a few, actually. But I'll start off back in the olden days when my nana and granddad were alive, actually. So I mean, there's a debate going to go on in here, actually, with the listeners. There's going to be a debate. But my nana used to make, so my granddad used to, right. So when I was younger, I was like 5 or 6. And my granddad used to peel the potatoes. And then he used to always wash them. I always remember this. And he used to put them in this glass bowl. And then my nana would chop them up and obviously boil them to the soft. And I used to always watch it. I mean, I've never been one to watch cooking. I'm just like, put it all in a pan and go for the job, whatever. If it tastes great, it tastes great. If it don't, well, there's always a takeaway shop down the road. But going back to the story, yeah, so my nana would boil potatoes, but the debate is my nana always put butter in the mashed potato and she used to mash it. It used to be absolutely, yeah, for me, it used to bring it really fluffy, light, and really soft. Now, but then it used to confuse me because I thought, well, nana's putting butter in. But then my mum would do the same thing, but put like cream in it, not butter. And I think there's a bit of debation going on. Like, do you put, and also, my mum used to put chives in it as well sometimes. The green, I don't know if it was chives actually, I never watched it. Yeah, some sort of herb anyway, green herb. And so I used to watch my nana and think, well, hang on, I was 6. So I was like, I said, Mummy, why are you not putting butter in? And obviously I was like, why is it runny butter? I said, why is it runny? Now I couldn't understand why she was putting cream in and not butter. Anyway, but now when I make potatoes, I mean, this is going to be funny. I can't decide which one to put in, so I just put both in. I put cream and butter.
But it's a personal taste, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it does go a bit sloppy, but it's not good. I like it like that. But and it is quite nice. But I do like, I mean, the butter that I use is Pack. I absolutely, that makes it so lovely, so creamy. To be honest, you don't need to put the cream in with Pack because it's so it makes it so creamy anyway. But yeah, I could never understand why my nana was putting butter in and my mum was putting cream in. I couldn't get to grips. I thought, why is the butter running, mum? Do you know what I mean? It was like really bizarre. But I used to sit there all day and think about it. And I used to eat it thinking, why is it not? But I mean, with the cream, I always think to my mum it was a bit more sloppy. And now I think about it. But yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I really do like. I just remember the days sat there watching my nana cook, the Sunday roast, or making the homemade Yorkshire puddings as well. That was, oh my God. I love, coming from Yorkshire, come on, Yorkshire puddings. Oh, you can't beat them, can you?
I like the large ones. Do you like the large Yorkshire?
Oh, yes, I do. I actually had that quite recently. I had a homemade stew with the mashed potato in the big Yorkshire pudding. And actually going back in the day, I didn't realise, Martin, that Yorkshire puddings, the old Yorkshire famous pudding, was used as a dessert. Actually, it was used as a dessert. I was like, what? No way could I see myself having a Yorkshire pudding after my Sunday roast with ice cream and cream and God knows jam in it. No way. Like, it just takes it away. But apparently back in the day, they used to have it as a dessert or a starter. And I was like, what? I can't get to grips with that either. But can I just say, my ultimate favourite restaurant is in Hull. It's Bob Carver's. Can't beat a bit of Bob's. Now, obviously, you know where I'm probably going to go. It's us Hull lasses and males. We all know, and fellas, you can't beat a good patty, can you? Come on. Right, so you can't beat a good old patty. And only the people from Hull will know what a patty is. And you can go to Doncaster, you can go Wakefield, anywhere, Sheffield, I don't even have a clue what it is. I lived in London for 24 years, I think now. Obviously. And I remember when I was 18, I thought, because I just moved into my student halls. I thought, I'll just have a patty and chips and mushy peas. Goes to the fish shop and I said, can I have a patty and chips and mushy peas, please? He said, what's a patty? He didn't even have a clue what a patty was. Patty. Right. I said, where do you get your fish from? Because Hull's known for the whole docks, isn't it? So I said, where do you get, luckily he said, I said, where do you get your fish from? He said, oh, from Hull docks. I said, right, well, you'll know what a patty is then. He said, right. So anyway, I didn't answer. He didn't ask me. Anyway, I got home. And opened it up, I just made of this patty. Put tomato sauce on it, all like that. Bit into it, it was a fish cake. I was like, oh my, and I don't like fish cake. And I was like, what is he doing to me? Anyway, so I stormed all the way back to the fish shop. and I said, this isn't right. This is not right. You've given me a fish cake. I want a patty potato right in batter, basically, with sage, you know, and some herb, whatever it is. And, you know, he couldn't get, he said, what? I've never heard of it, love. I said, right, you need to get to all because you're missing out. Anyway, but my favourite restaurant is Bob Carver's. They're at Old Fair. You can't beat fish and chips, can you? Oh, you just can't. And nothing better on a seaside stroll and you've got Bob Carver's in your hands. Well, they're not all of them, but they're only nose, you know what I mean? So that's what I do love. And I've also got another story. My grandma was a patty slapper. So she used to
make...
For those of you who don't know what patty slapper is, it's basically what a patty slapper is back in the day, the olden days, before I was born. My grandma used to work in the docking factories, and it's where where they used to make patties and the fish and the potatoes, basically. So there was on the whole docks, and they used to make patties for the fish shops.
Yes.
And so that's what they used to do for the whole fish shops, basically. And it's just potato rolled up. But my nan used to that, and there's an actual book out with my grandma in that book called Patty Flappers. You can buy it on Amazon. It's 25 quid. It's expensive if you ask me, but £25. But yeah, she's in that book talking about, you know, the fish, the docks, the potato slapping, believe it or not, you know, that sort of thing. But yeah, hence why I think, you know, if you're from Hull, it's your roots, isn't it, Martin? It's your roots. You know, you're not going to. Yeah. It's like, you know, if you go to Manchester, we call things different things, don't we? Like we call it a bread cake, and what do they call it? A cob in Manchester or something like that. A roll in London, you know. But yeah, you can't beat a good old fish and chips.
No, fantastic. So what, other than that, is the best sort of traditional food favourite?
Oh, well, there's a few for me, actually. I'm actually British, obviously, but I love American food. I love American food. I mean, they just trick it all on one plate and they give you so much of it. It's brilliant, you know. You'll never go hungry in America, let's say that. But I mean, they obviously waste a lot of food, but you know, I mean, a massive pizza. I mean, I remember going to New York and I ordered. It was my first time in America and I didn't know how big a large pizza would come. It had its own table. That's how big a large pizza was in America. My face just dropped. I was like, oh my God. It had 100. I think we counted the slices. I took a picture of it. 100 and something slices it had on it. It had its own table. Unbelievable. And I don't know if it was an extra large, to be fair, but it come with its own table. And my face just dropped. And obviously, no way could I eat all that to myself, obviously. And you know what? The thing was so cheap. It was like $22. And I was so cheap. That's you know, crazy. Anyway, it was crazy. It was insane. But what we did, me and my auntie, give it to all the homeless in New York because it was just wasted, you know. 2 slices and I was done. It's just ridiculous. But going back to the question is, yeah, I love American food. I love all American food. The healthy stuff as well as the, you know, burgers and, you know, all the rest of it, pizza and the rubbish that they eat over there. But, you know, that is one of my personal favourites. I just love America. I love root beer. Mm. That's not an alcoholic drink. It's like Coca-Cola, but there's the accent, Martin. Coca-Cola. It's but basically it sounds like it tastes like TCP, but it's not, obviously. But it's very similar, and it's lovely. I love it. It's one of my favourite drinks to go to. But traditionally in the UK, so I love American food, but in the traditions of the UK, my favourite would be, obviously I spoke about a Sunday roast. That's one of them. Second, I like, you can't beat a good pasta dish either. But I must admit, I do like, well, this is another argument, right? I do love cottage and shepherd's pie. To me, they're the same thing, but it's to do with the minced pork and beef, isn't it? But to me, I just bang whatever's in there. Do you know what I mean? I love a good cottage pie and shepherd's pie as well. And you probably think this is so wrong, but I love putting tomato sauce on the top. with gravy, Martin, with gravy.
At the same time?
Sorry?
At the same time?
Oh, yeah.
Gravy and tomato. I haven't tried that as yet.
Oh, it's absolutely perfect. Oh, it's for me. But put a bit of tomato sauce on the potato, a bit of gravy. Oh, it's to the tea. Well, that's what I had with my stew the other night with a big Yorkshire pudding. I put tomato sauce all over it. Oh, it was lovely. I suppose whatever tickles your taste buds, isn't it? You know, whatever you fancy, isn't it? I suppose. But I mean, another favourite of mine, it's not a meal, it's more of a snack. If I'm out on the town, I do love a good Walker's packet of red and salted with tomato sauce, the crisp dipped in. Oh my God. I can eat packs and packs of them all day long. Love it. I mean, obviously, people used to get, right, when I lived in London, I used to do that in London. I'd be able to say, oh my God, it's so rubbish, rank, what are you doing? I was like, this is lovely, you know. Like, but I'll tell you, I always say, don't try it and don't knock it till you've tried it. That's the way forward, isn't it? But I mean, you put anything in front of me, Martin, I'll eat it, to be fair. I like anything. But I do like, at the moment, I tell you what I'm hooked on a minute is American, actually. We've just opened a Wendy's in Hull, where I live. And you can't be a triple Dave. Triple Dave, 3 burgers in one, massive. Oh, my God. I only had one, I've had one this week already. Absolutely. Oh, they're lovely. Absolutely. I could die for them. So I think Wendy's has won it for me, actually. I'll tick that box. I think it's burgers, actually, is my favourite so far. But I could just talk about food all day long. I'll eat, like I said, I'll eat anything. So
So if we have a scenario that you're planning your last meal,
yeah.
would it be sort of formal clothing, or would it be laid back, fairly casual?
No, it'd be glamorous. There'll be diamonds, there'll be pink, there'll be loads. I'll have to invite all my and I tell you what I'd invite as well, actually. So I'd invite well, let me talk. So I'll tell you what I'd do. I'll do the invites first and then I'll do the meal. So if I was gonna do big large, it'd all be la-di-da. So I'd do pink feathers in the middle of the table. I'd have white plates with pink cups, like glasses, champagne glasses. Moet, obviously everyone has to have a bottle of Moet, and I mean a big bottle, not a small bottle. Because they come in sober, they walk out drunk. That's the way forward in my house. And and I would do pink ribbons around the chairs, like when you get married, like that. And then everyone's got to wear glamorous clothing, right? Now, these are the people I'd invite. It's going to be a weird combination, but it'll be amazing. Peter Kay.
Yes.
Kim Cattrall. Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Cary Grant. Cary Grant's brilliant. You know what? She is so amazing. Like, I told her something personal, Martin, when I filmed with her, and she sent me a lovely text back. And every time the text was brilliant. It always uplifts me. Yes. And every time I, feel down, I don't feel down often. It's very rare that I feel down because I'm always happy. But if I do have a bad day at work, sometimes I read that and it really does lift me up. And I think, actually, she's really inspirational. So Cary Grant, the others are all brilliant as well, but I just wanted to say that. Cary Grant, how many can you get on a table?
I don't know. I mean, you could probably have the whole restaurant if you wanted.
Okay, right. My mum, because she's the biggest inspiration to me, obviously. My dad as well. I would have, let me think now. I'd probably have another comedian, Alan Murray, because I want to know how he learns how to down them pants as good as he does. That's another one. And he's great at his jokes. I'll go for 10. I've got 8 so far. And I would go for, I'll put my auntie in there as well. My auntie as well. She's quite an inspiration as well. And the last but not least, I would go for Cheryl Ferguson. I'm going to say Sian Reeves as well. And who else do I? And I can't really not forget Yorkshire actors, can I? Come on. Mandy Dingle. Let's do the proper Yorkshire ones. Mandy Dingle, Paddy Dingle. I didn't even watch this, so I'm trying to get, all the Yorkshire actors that I know that could come on from the television. But yeah, there'd be a lot there, I think, if I did a party. And the food that I would cook, actually, it wouldn't be American. I'd have to go posh, wouldn't I? So I'd probably do obviously my mashed potato, what I spoke about. But then I'd let them choose butter or cream. Obviously, I'd put the butter on, a knob of butter on, and then obviously the cream so they could do their own. And then, because I wouldn't know what to do, but oh my god. And I would do asparagus because I really like that with a chicken and mushroom white wine sauce, and obviously breast of chicken. I would love to do that, but also I do like a good afternoon tea as well. So it'd be one of the two. It'd be one of the two. So I would do that. And then on the afternoon tea, it'd be lovely, like cakes. Not obviously, I'm going to cheat, not homemade. I'd go to Cake and Bake a yummy treat. Because I could not bake, Martin, for my life. So that's what I would do. But I'd like to have all the people that inspire me around me and obviously give them the best meal that I can. But I'm not going to say, if they like black when I cook, that's great. Because I'm not the best cook. But that's something that I would love to do. Definitely.
So if you could go back in time and talk to your younger self, maybe 18 or 25-year-old,
Ooh, that's a long time back, Martin,
what
for me. Yeah.
what would you tell them to improve your career, life, etc.?
I would say not be more confident because I've always been confident, but speak up more, ask for things more, ask. Because I would always sit, like, if there was a big person in that room, I wouldn't ask them questions. I'd sit back, I'd let everybody else. Because I always used to think, is that a stupid question? And
Yes,
it's not always a stupid question, you know, and everybody else shone around me, but I was sat there quiet. And I wished I'd kind of said to myself, look, just go for it. No question is stupid. You know, you can shine. It doesn't matter. You're the one that's going to get picked out of that crowd to do well. And I never looked at it in that way. So I would say to myself, not more confidence, but I don't really can't think of the word, you know, have more courage is probably the right word. Have more courage to, you know, speak up and ask those questions and, you know, see where that journey takes me from asking those questions. So if I'd have gone back, I would love to have done that and see whether I would be in the same job now or whether I would have been in something else. I think moving to London was the biggest decision of my life. I think I was very young. I was only 19. It's the big smirk. You know, there's hundreds of thousands, millions of people in London. You know, and going to London, I had to grow up very, very quickly. I mean, obviously I'm 19, but obviously, you know, grow up very quickly because it's a big city. I didn't know where the hell I was going, what I was doing, you know, and I think that really did open my eyes on my career, as I said earlier. But I'm glad that I went back. I'm glad I went there when I was younger.
yes,
Because that gave me the courage to start asking those questions and start opening those doors. Now, if I'd have stayed in Hull, or I don't think I'd have had that opportunity to be able to speak up and meet those wonderful people that I've met across my career, all those celebrity people, all those, you know, all those people in the industry, in magazines and television. You know, I don't think I'd have had that opportunity to actually get that courage to speak up. And I think now I probably would be in a, I don't like to say a dead end job. I don't know. I just don't know where I'd be. But that is definitely something that I would have said to myself is have that courage to open and speak because nothing's stupid. No question is stupid. That's what I'd have said.
So is there a question that you thought I would ask, which I haven't, which you would think would showcase yourself, or?
No, I think you've asked it all really. I mean, I don't think you've missed anything out really at all. I mean, you know, I've gone through my whole career at the start, so I think I mean, I think I've covered everything from what I can gather. I think you've asked some great questions, yeah. I mean, come on, the best ones are the food, aren't they? I mean, come on, I mean, I'm starving now. I'm quite hungry, Martin,
So
actually.
you're going to
Now you've
run
got me
out
on food.
now and go to Wendy's, are you?
No, because I only had one yesterday. I won't be having a Wendy's today. My God, I don't have to think how many calories are in them burgers. My God. No, I only have them once in a while when I fancy it. But no, and what time is it? 10:20. No, I'll probably have a coffee and some porridge, I think. Boring as ever. So yeah, or some toast, I think. But yeah, or some fruit, you know. You get me on food now, Martin. That's it. I'm going on forever. I love food. But you are making me hungry. The best bit was, like I said, talking about the food. I can talk about food when it comes out of my ears. So I love food. I love food. So yeah.
So you have been listening to The Last Meal on Earth with Louise White, who is a television presenter. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Martin. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Andrew. Bye bye.
Bye bye.